The Vanishing Hitchhiker. The Vanishing Hitchhiker is a scary urban legend about a young girl who is on her way to a dance one night. A boy who is driving down a lonely country road sees her and stops to give her a ride in his car. This story is also known as Lavender, the Hitchhiking Ghost, and the Girl in the Road. A boy and his friend were on their way to a dance, driving down a lonely country road. They saw a young girl standing at the side of the road with her thumb out. The boys stopped to ask her if she'd like a ride. She asked them if they'd take her home, but they told her they were on their way to a dance. They asked the girl if she'd like to come too, and she accepted their invitation. So they all got in the car and she sat in the back seat. It was a very cold night and she borrowed one of their overcoats. Danced all night, and when it got late, she asked them to take her home. So they drove to her house and stopped and let her out. Suddenly one of the boys remembered he had forgotten to ask her for his overcoat. His friend said, "Wait until tomorrow, we'll come back." The next morning the boys returned to look for the girl. They found her mother, a very old woman, at home. She said that the girl was her daughter, but she'd been dead for 12 years. She had been killed in a car accident at that same corner. The old woman pointed to a cemetery down the road. The boys didn't believe her and they went into the cemetery and looked around. Then they saw the overcoat draped over a headstone. Engraved in the tombstone was the girl's name, and the date of her death was exactly 12 years ago to the day. This type of phantom hitchhiker also features in the urban legend about the San Antonio ghost tracks. Soap Sally. Soap Sally is a scary urban legend about a creepy old woman who kidnaps runaway children and turns them into lye soap. There's a legend in some regions of Appalachia about Soap Sally. Some people say she's an old woman who wears too much makeup, and others say she's an old man trying to pretend he's an old woman. According to the legend, Soap Sally stalks the area at dusk, looking for children who have run away from home. She grabs them by the hand in a death-like grip and leads them off, and nobody ever sees them again. People say she grinds up their bones and turns the children into soap. There's a special kind of soap called lye soap, which was made years ago from the fat and bones of animals. Soap Sally uses the fat and bones of children to make her own special brand of soap. Some even say she made the soap to resemble children's hands, and when she's done, they say she sells the soap to the parents of the missing children. The parents never realize that they are washing themselves with the remains of their own children. Every time a child would go missing, 2 or 3 days later, Soap Sally could be seen going from town to town carrying a sack full of handmade soap, selling it cheap to unsuspecting parents. In past times, parents would warn their children about Soap Sally, saying, "If you don't get home by dark, Soap Sally will get you, or stay away from those woods, Soap Sally will get you." The Hook. The Hook, or the Hook Man, is a scary urban legend about a boyfriend and girlfriend who park in a deserted lover's lane one dark night. One summer night, a teenage boy was going out on a date with his new girlfriend. He picked her up at her house and they drove out to the edge of town. They parked the car in a secluded spot that was a well-known lover's lane. As they gazed out at the lights of the town, the boy put his arm around the girl and switched on the car radio so they could listen to some romantic music. He leaned over and the young couple began kissing and cuddling. Just as they were getting into the mood, the music suddenly stopped and a newsreader's voice came on the radio. "This is an emergency announcement. Earlier tonight, a crazed murderer escaped from the state mental asylum. Police are warning citizens to be on their guard since the patient is considered armed and dangerous. The insane killer is nicknamed the Hook Man because after he lost his right hand in an accident, is replaced with a steel hook. Everyone in the area should be on the lookout for a man fitting this description. If you see anything suspicious, you should report it to the police immediately." The girl became frightened and asked to be taken home. She knew that the state insane asylum was not far from the lover's lane. She was also worried that the remote area where they were parked was a perfect spot for a deranged madman to lurk. The boy was feeling brave and assured his girlfriend that they were perfectly safe. He locked all of the car doors, then tried to kiss her again. The girl became frantic and pushed him away, insisting that they leave immediately. In a huff, the boy slammed the car into gear and spun its wheels as he pulled out of the parking space. On the way back to town, they both calmed down, but the girl still held on tightly to her boyfriend. When they pulled up outside the girl's house, the boy got out of the car and walked around to open the door for his girlfriend. For a long time, he just stood there, staring at the door. At first, the girl couldn't figure out what was wrong. Then she realized that her door was still locked. She smiled and unlocked it. Still, the boy just stood there. The girl was puzzled and rolled down her window. Then she saw that the boy was staring down at the door handle. Slowly, she looked down herself and began to scream uncontrollably. There, hanging from the door handle, was a bloody stainless steel hook. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe. We would greatly appreciate it. Thank you.